What the hell did you do to me? Visor shrieked, still retching up mouthfuls of blood. His skin was becoming redder by the moment. Fuck you, Luke responded. You don't get to ask any goddamn questions. Here's what we're gonna do, he continued. You give us the information we want. He held up a vial of clear liquid. And I'll give you the antidote. Antidote to what? Visor asked. What do you think? Visor responded. You have about 10 minutes before your skin starts bubbling up like a fucking pizza in an oven. It's gonna look real nasty. Say goodbye to that handsome face. Visor let out a pained chuckle. Nice bluff. I don't feel shit. I'll survive whatever the hell this is. I had to commend him on his dedication to the lie. His face was going beet red, and his eyes looked about ready to pop from his skull. Luke sighed. We can wait then. See if your tone changes in the next few minutes. I couldn't tell you what the hell that Luke had blasted him with, but I'm sure as hell glad none of that splashed onto me. The amount of pain that Visor was experiencing seemed to multiply every second that passed. After only a minute, he began screaming his lungs out, as if his head were being crushed under 10,000 tons. You don't feel anything, huh? Luke said coldly. What the hell was in that bullet? I asked him. He just shook his head at me. I'll tell you later. He walked over towards Visor and knelt down beside him. I bet you're going through hell right now, aren't you? Well, brace yourself, because this ain't even the peak of it. New York! Visor muttered out. Luke grinned. Now we're getting somewhere. If I fail to deliver the footage, the next attack's gonna be in New York. All right, Luke responded. So how do we stop it? Visor let out an excruciating groan. He was starting to turn crimson. The sewers, he continued. They'll come out of the sewers. Which area? Lower Manhattan. When? 2 days from now. Around noon. Luke nodded before standing back up. New York, huh? Couldn't have picked a more generic place? That's everything I know, Visor said, gritting his teeth through every word. Give me the fucking antidote. One more question, Luke said. Is Kayden gonna be there himself? Visor responded with a strenuous-looking nod. I think... There's a fucking antidote, come on! Oh, this? This? Luke said, holding up the vial instead of handing it over. He opened it up himself before pouring it down his throat. Visor's expression dropped. This is vodka, Luke continued. There is no antidote. Luke walked off, leaving Visor to scream in agony by himself. I'd be lying if I said that the whole sequence wasn't a bit jarring for me. I just had to stand there for a moment watching him. It was like a train wreck. I couldn't take my eyes off him. But as big of a piece of shit as Visor was, I couldn't help but feel sorry for him. It's just a bit. 2 days, Luke muttered to himself. Now out of time. Hell, we don't know if he's telling the truth. So that's where we're going? Manhattan? I asked. Luke nodded, although his face seemed to be stuck in a permanent grimace. We gained the intel at the price of 2 valuable assets. 2 of them? I asked. Colt, I understand, was the other. The bullet I shot Visor with, Luke responded. That was supposed to be for Kayden. It's the only thing that's capable of taking him down. I nearly choked on my own saliva when he said that. Are you fucking kidding me? The words came out of my mouth almost instinctively. Why the hell would you waste it on him then? Relax, Luke responded. We had 2. That's 1 bullet left. We just need to have perfect aim. No big deal. The hell was in that bullet? He was silent at my question before letting out a brief chuckle. You know what? I don't actually know. Before he could give me a further explanation, the rest of our team made our way to the clearing, all looking pretty roughed up. Armin came through first, his eyes widening upon seeing Colt's body. God damn, he muttered. His eyes then moved over to Visor, still convulsing on the ground, his dismay turning into anger as he stared at Luke. Don't tell me you used it, Armin said, his eyes fixed on Luke in a death stare. The hell were you thinking? He was filming the entire attack, Luke responded, his voice remaining calm. Could you imagine what would have happened if that footage made it to anybody significant? Karman shook his head, visibly pissed off. Doesn't change the fact that you just took the biggest risk of all time. Did you get anything out of him at least? Luke nodded. Next attack's gonna be in New York in 2 days. They're coming out of the sewers. Clearly Kane's gonna be there as well. Karman took a moment to calm himself down. Well, let's see if your decision pays off. Or if you just fucked us permanently. Yeah, Luke said, starting to walk off. Quit being so dramatic. Let's get to the plane. Hang on, Karman called after him. What about your arm? Can you even move that thing? Without turning back, Luke used his good arm to flash the OK symbol at him. Karman shook his head and mumbled something before following after him. I began walking as well, but felt Visor grab my ankle after only a few steps. You don't understand, I heard him mutter. I didn't even look down. I just shook his hand off my leg and continued walking. Over the years, I learned that some things are better ignored. After trekking, retracing our steps through the grueling woods, we found the plane waiting for us. The pilot scanned our group, but didn't say anything about Colt's absence, although I could certainly tell that he noticed. Luke outlined our next steps on the flight back to New York. As expected, it was a bit haphazard, but we didn't have the luxury of planning ahead. Lower Manhattan was a relatively large place. We had a lot of ground to cover. Luke estimated that we'd be able to gather about 90 guys who were on our side in the short amount of time that we had. However, that also meant telegraphing our plan to Kane's entire faction, and that meant there was no going back. This was going to be our final stand. Taking out Kane was also going to be difficult, since we only had one bullet. Can't we just make some more of them? I asked. Why do we have to rely on one? No, we can't, Luke responded. The only person capable of making these bullets is, well, Kane himself. Shit, wasn't expecting that. One of our moles actually managed to steal 5 of them from Kane's private lab, Luke continued. But then, things got messy. He was killed, we only managed to recover 2, and to be honest, I'm surprised Visor didn't know about it, or else he wouldn't have realized I was bluffing about the antidote. I guess Kane keeps some things pretty close to his chest. And now we only have one, Karman added, glaring at Luke. But does Kane know we have it? I asked. Luke nodded. That fact certainly doesn't help. He'll be expecting us to use it. With everything considered, it sounded like we were going to need a miracle to pull this off. Luke went to the list of our priorities in order of importance. 1. Don't let any of the fake aliens out of the sewers and into the city. And 2. Eliminate Kane. They were simple in concept, presumably tougher to execute. One aspect of the plan bothered me more than anything else. We were barely strong enough to take down a single creature by ourselves, I said. How the hell are we going to deal with an entire horde without Colt? Luke and Armin briefly glanced at one another. They almost seemed worried as they did so, as if an uncomfortable thought had just crossed both their minds simultaneously. We do have somebody stronger than Colt on our side. Probably even stronger than Visor, Luke said. Secret weapon, if you will. I squinted at both of them. So why the hell wasn't he here? Because he's fucking insane, Armin responded. He's not a secret weapon, he's a last resort. I'll call Valerie, Luke said, standing up. Have her wrangle him into New York. You do that, Karman said before looking over at me. Brace yourself. Once we get to New York, it's gonna be a shit show. Hey there kids, it's me, MrCreepyPasta, and I want to tell you thank you so much for watching tonight's video or listening to tonight's episode of the podcast. I really appreciate it, and anytime you guys give me a subscribe or a follow or a like or a comment or literally just a watch, I can't thank you enough for it because you're the reason I keep making episodes and you guys are the reason that I love horror as much as I do. It's the middle of summer, and I'm sure you guys have summer reading lists or something like that, but wouldn't it be cooler if I just read to you? So you can always check me out on Audible, audible.com. You can search up Mr. Creepypasta, and I have a whole bunch of books that I've done audiobooks for there, such as Tales from the Gas Station, or the very newest one that I've done, Pastel-Colored Dreams and Human-Flavored Nightmares by Vincent Venicava. If you haven't checked that out yet, hot dang, you should. And as always, I want to give a very special thanks to all of my patrons at patreon.com/MrCreepyPasta, because you guys are the reasons I get to keep my lights on in the house and get wonderful little treats for my cats and everything like that. And also the reason why we keep getting special custom series just for the channel. So a special thanks to Jacob Shaffer, Jordan Alexander Sanchez, Bryon Arce, Ken Lando Higuchi, Bobby Karman, Tristain Pelton, Chase Burnett, Bardo Hawk 764, TheBananaMafia 1, Melancholy Corpse, Hollow Zero, Ferb, Harley, Billy Morrow, Katie Birch, Sashi Sazaku, Kayden the Spooky Boy, MyBodySoundsLikeRiceKrispys, AshWood, Lord of the Weebs, Jay, Feyelocket, Miss Xandra, MrUnsettlingSpaghetti, Eurogore, Suji Campbell, Marco Takes Dabs 420, Stricken, Ozrine Fox, Robert White, Andres Garcia, Snails Brennan, Legit Quad Feed, James Bruce, Chris Lovins, Freddy Krueger, Tynan, Justin Johnson, Michael Scarborough, Infernal One, James Lowe, Lisa Cottrell, Caspian, Jordan Nels, Hades Nephew, Tater Chip, Acid System, Prozac and Pancake Appreciation Society, Cryptic Nightmares, Someone You Love, Kiri the Sloth, Tommy Green, Sky Harbor, Caleb Dougal, Nina Smith, Nico Kayo, Rafael Rodriguez, The Ginger Bros, Aaron Stormcrow, Daniel Polson, Trace Miles, Corey Kenshin, and Peaceful Buddha. That's right, guys, at patreon.com/MrCreepyPasta, you could join this amazing list of people's names I mispronounce and the list of Patreons down there in the description. But of course, none of that is ever required. I just appreciate you guys subscribing and watching and honestly being here. So, to all of you, sweet dreams.